On July 2, 2024, a seemingly ordinary day for air travel, China Eastern Airlines Flight MU-523, a routine domestic service operated by a Boeing 737 nanograms, specifically the 737-800 model, was smoothly cruising at a standard altitude of 32,000 feet over the vast expanse of the East China Sea. The weather was clear, and the flight was proceeding as planned. Suddenly, without warning, a sudden cabin pressure warning, an alarming signal, shattered the routine, transforming a calm flight into a high-stakes emergency situation. The pilots, highly trained and experienced, were immediately faced with one of aviation's most serious emergencies, a rapid loss of cabin pressure. They immediately initiated a rapid descent, a critical procedure to reach an altitude where breathable air was available. Bringing the aircraft down to 9,000 feet, dropping over 20,000 feet in a matter of moments, a dramatic and unsettling change in altitude. This rapid descent occurred in just 10 minutes, a testament to the pilot's swift action and adherence to emergency protocols. For the 178 people on board, passengers and crew alike, the normal flight transformed into a terrifying ordeal, a stark reminder of the potential risks of air travel. As the aircraft plunged through the clouds to a safe altitude, the experience was undoubtedly harrowing, where oxygen masks were no longer needed, signaling a return to a more breathable environment. Thankfully, this was not the troubled 737 MAX, which has been subject to intense scrutiny, but the incident still raised fresh concerns and questions about aircraft safety and maintenance procedures, about Boeing's overall safety record and the reliability of its aircraft. What should have been a short, uneventful trip, a routine flight across the East China Sea, became a moment of shared fear none would forget, a stark reminder of the unpredictable nature of air travel. Panic erupted as the overhead compartments sprung open and yellow oxygen masks dropped from the ceiling, a stark signal that something was terribly wrong. The sudden deployment triggered a wave of anxiety. Amidst the confusion, the cabin crew's urgent instructions cut through the chaos, their voices a beacon of authority in the disorienting situation. They were trained to handle exactly this kind of emergency. Passengers gripped their seats, knuckles white, feeling the G-forces as the plane dove, a rapid descent that pressed them against their seats with unexpected force. The feeling was both frightening and surreal. While the sounds of fear, screams, piercing the air, prayers, whispered and fervent, and sobs filled the cabin, creating a symphony of distress. Social media later showed images of wide-eyed travelers and dangling masks, instantly shared around the world, capturing the raw terror and disbelief etched on the faces of those passengers during those 10 harrowing minutes. Amid the panic, the crew's calm professionalism anchored the cabin, their steady demeanor a stark contrast to the fear around them. Checking masks, ensuring everyone was receiving the life-saving oxygen, and urging everyone to stay seated and buckled, reinforcing the safety protocols. For many, the psychological impact was lasting, a trauma that would take time to process. A brush with mortality at 32,000 feet, a stark reminder of the fragility of life. The crew's training turned chaos into order, their expertise preventing what could have been a far greater tragedy. But the memory of that descent and the fear it evoked will linger long after the plane lands. In the cockpit, the pilot's rigorous training immediately kicked in, the very instant the piercing warning sounded. Quickly donning their oxygen masks, they initiated a textbook emergency descent procedure, promptly declaring an emergency situation and alerting air traffic control using the universal 7700 emergency code. Their top priority was to get the plane down to a breathable altitude as fast as possible, and then divert swiftly to the nearest available airport, Fukuoka. Carefully managing their airspeed and rate of descent, maintaining clear communication under immense pressure, the pilots skillfully kept the aircraft operating within safe parameters. Their calm and methodical actions ultimately ensured the safety and well-being of everyone on board. The emergency situation was handled precisely as standard operating procedures demand, effectively turning a potential disaster into what was thankfully just a survivable scare. The crucial human element, their skill, training, and composure, made all the difference in the world. Flight MU-523, after its harrowing descent, landed safely in Fukuoka. The relief was palpable as the aircraft touched down. Waiting on the tarmac were emergency crews, a fleet of fire trucks and ambulances, ready to respond to any further complications. Thankfully, All 178 on board were unharmed, a testament to the crew's skill and the aircraft's inherent safety features. Passengers were quickly cared for by airline staff and local authorities, offered immediate assistance, and rebooked onto alternative flights to continue their journeys. Meanwhile, the Boeing 737 nanograms involved in the incident was grounded for a thorough inspection, every system meticulously checked. Investigations by both Chinese and Japanese aviation authorities began immediately, a collaborative effort to understand what had transpired. The primary focus of the investigation was to determine the root cause of the sudden pressurization failure, examining every component of the system. Investigators also sought to analyze the crew's response to the emergency, evaluating their actions against established protocols. The incident, understandably, reignited public scrutiny of Boeing and its aircraft, given the company's recent history. It's important to note that this incident involved a 737 nanograms, a different model than the previously embattled 737 MAX, which had faced its own safety concerns. Each new aviation event, regardless of its severity, inevitably adds to public anxiety about air travel. This fuels the ongoing debate about aircraft safety, manufacturing standards, and the rigorous oversight required to maintain public trust. Still, the safe outcome of Flight MU-523 ultimately highlights the inherent strength of established aviation protocols and safety measures. It also underscores the critical importance of continuous, rigorous training for flight crews, preparing them for any eventuality. In aviation, safety is never assumed or taken for granted. It's earned through diligence, vigilance, and constant improvement, every flight, every day.